Hey, what's going on guys? Mark back here on Mark's Aquatics. Now on today's video we're going to carry on with the filter. I've put the sides on, as you can see, and we've got that nice shape, and I've shaped it all the way around now so the jellyfish tank sits, cradles in there nicely, and we've got to sort out all this filtration system before we glue it all together and fuse it all into one. Now I'll set you up on the bench in a minute, and I'll take you through what I've done so far. It's a little bit scratched up where I've been sanding, but that's all going to be polished out later on. And actually what I'm going to do when it's actually finished, because it's going to be a filter, it's going to be all the media and the sponges and things in here, I'm going to be covering it up. So I'm going to make a nice little shroud in wood. I'm going to get some nice mahogany or something and encase all this, make a nice sleeve that can slide back over the front and cover all this up so you won't see it. I did think about leaving it open, but I don't know, I think it's just too much going on. There's going to be too many colours and different things with the foams in there, and I'd rather hide it away so we just get that look, that jellyfish, big moon there looking at us with those little moon jellyfish whizzing about in there. Right, I think what I'll do now is I'll set you up on the bench. We've had a package come today which I'm quite excited about. I'll open that for you in a minute and show you what's in there. And what else? Oh yes, that's right, we got some other media that's which we're going to put in there as well. Anyway guys, what I'm going to do now is set you up on the bench and we'll get on with this little chat of what we're going to do and what we've been doing to this little filter. Okay guys, that's a little bit better. All set up on the bench now, and now we can get into what I've been doing to this filter over the last couple of days. Been a little bit busy, so haven't done as much as I wanted to, but I think we can do a good part of it today. So as you can see, there's a bit of water in there, because what I've done is I've filled it up to the top now, and I've given it a water test to make sure all these seams are nice and watertight, because it's going to be full of water as well as the tank on the top. But if you can look inside, I'll bring it this way a bit. You can see now I've glued two pieces this side and two pieces that side, which have created a cradle there for some egg crate which I've got over here. I've put the pump, I'll just spin that round for you so you can see what I've done. Now there, I put the pump through. Now I've drilled a hole right through there, and I've put in a piece of acrylic pipe, see? And I've pushed that all the way through. And then what I've done is from the outside, I've got my mastic gun with some aquarium black sealant in there, and I've squeezed, and I've actually filled that pipe up to about 2 inches thick all the way through, so no water is ever going to get out through there from that pump. And if I ever have to take it out at any time, I'll just do it again. But normally what happens is with these pumps, when they do decide to pack up, it's the little motors, it's not the actual motor itself, it's the little magnetic side of the impeller that normally goes, and that wears off, and then you get that cavitation, and then you get trouble. But all you got to do is literally untake that off, take that out. I've actually, this is not really going to be it's going to be hard work to get into this tank, but I'm going to make the appropriate tools, the tongs and things, so I can move things. You'll see as time goes along. A lot of these filters that you see, they've got side canisters, and they've got a double ring inside, and all these different funky filtration systems. But the way I'm going to do this, if I can show you now, don't worry about all these scratches, they're all going to come off later on, and you're not going to see them in the end anyway. It's just where I've been sanding and shaping. This stuff's just like wood. You can sand it, you can cut it, you can do all sorts, just like wood. So don't be frightened to have a go at this. If you're quite handy at woodwork, you'll be quite apt to making yourself something like this quite easily. So I've got the old egg crate as well, which I've cut a hole out because I need to be able to lift that pump out at any time if I need to do anything with it. So that goes on top of the rail now. So I've left some of it out so it sits back in there. and goes over the pump like that. Now that's going to house the media now, which we're going to put in there. I've got some sponges as well, which I've cut out over here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this stuff in first. These are old koi pads. Well, they're not old, they're new ones actually. But I can put those in there like that. Push that across now and house that on there like that. Now I've got another piece of pipe which I've cut here, which then slides into the top nice and snugly into the top of that pump, and that's going to sit there like that. We've got our other bits of foam over here which I cut as well. Now they're just going to go in and spike that right through there like so, and that's going to go down and cover that. And then I've got a couple of smaller bits which I'm just going to pop in here like that, and that's going to fill up that bottom section there nice and full. So we've got that layer on there now. You can see that okay. I'll just take you out of the tripod and I'll show you a minute. Right, there you go. You can see that pipe now coming through. We've got a gap underneath now where the pump is. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a load of this stuff. Richard from Pond Guru sent me a load of this. Sent me about 25 kilos of this biohome media, because at some point in time I'm going to be making a trickle filter for the koi pond during the summer. So that's the stuff we're going to be using in here. Obviously that's going to colonise. This is seawater. It'll colonise the same with bacteria as it does in fresh water. But there you can see I've put those in there, those little struts. Then that's nice and solid in there now, so it's going to take the weight of this media now that we're going to put in. My little gang of endlers there swimming around in the back. Suffering with a little bit of hair algae at the moment, but it's not too bad. A little bit of a stringy bit coming off there. The old shrimps are happy, cleaning up underneath there, look. But that's the plan. So we're going to fill this up now. I'm going to put you back in the tripod and we'll fill this up with some media. There you are, that's better. Little Jack in the corner there, you can just see him. My little buddy down there. He's had his breakfast this morning, all nice and happy. Happy Easter to all you guys as well. For those who celebrate Easter, hope you got lots of Easter eggs this morning, kids. And the old Easter bunny's been hiding them all over the garden or all over your house, and you're having fun finding them. Right, we're going to get some of this media now. Now, with this stuff, this is going to be like a... I'm going to have to nip off now just for a minute, and we're going to have to rinse this through, because it's got a lot of, it's not a lot of debris on there, but it's sand. There's not a great deal of dust on it, but I'll put it in a bucket and I'm going to just give it a good old slosh about in there and remove most of this dust and the bits of particles and the loose bits of sand that's come off. Right, that's that stuff washed out. I'm just going to pour it from the jug now into here, and the good thing is it'll sit. It's going to sit in all those little holes. So move it around a bit. Huge surface area on this stuff to get all that nitrifying and denitrification going on. There you go. There's a good heap of that in there now. That's gonna work magic in there. Once that gets all colonised. Like I said before, guys, this isn't going to be a user-friendly system at all where the filter's built, but I just didn't want to see anything in the tank itself. Just wanted everything to be hidden below, and this is the way we can do it. And now we've got it like that. I've got another piece of the foam which we can push now through that pipe. And that'll sandwich all that lot inside there. And wobble that all the way down. Now that's nicely sealed, so the water's going to come through there. I've got another little piece there which I'm going to sandwich in that side. So now we've got a nice little sandwich there of foams. And we got all that nice biomedia in amongst it all there like that. If you can see that a little bit better. You guys are right, I need a bigger workshop. But there you go. Now I can't actually show you in here at the moment. I'll have to clean everything off again because the ceiling in the tank's about 2.5 feet tall on its own without this. So it's quite a big lump. So we're going to have to set it up on the bench, and I'll have to reset you up again because now this is all in. What I've done is I've drilled a hole. I'll show you in a minute. I've drilled a hole through the bottom now, and that is going to slide onto there. It's a tightish fit. It's not going to be glued in place, so I can actually grab that and take it out and remove things later on, but it's a good tight fit, so it's going to work well through there. So that tank will be stuck on top of there like that now. So we're going to run we've all cleaned off all the way around the edge, and now I'm going to have to reset you up, and we'll go from there. And I'll set you up on the table saw, and I'll get you on another angle so you can see the whole height. Now it's all going to look right. Right guys, there you go, we're all set up now. You can see it all put together, the way it's nicely cradled in there now, and we've got a nice seamless where I've sanded it all the way around there, so it's touching all the way around. So all I've got to do now is go in with my little syringe now and just dab that in the corner, let it flood that joint all the way around. Oh, focus dude, and across there, and likewise the other side. Leave that to bond, and then we're going to be ready to go. All that we need to do now is do the lights on the top. Now if you can see how it's going to work, I'll just take you out the cradle a minute. Nothing's polished, it's still all in work in progress at the moment. Right, you can see now you've got the pump underneath that media. So now that pump is going to be sucking away, which is going to then in turn draw all that water down through that little grid that we put there, which is all nice and flush, so the jellyfish can just slide by. And there's that little return pipe there which just fits in there, and that's all underwater, so we don't need to seal that, because I can just grab that now with a pair of pliers or anything in time, and I can just lift that out if I want to take it out at any point. All the pumps are sealed in, the tube's sealed in. All we've got to do now is put a light on the top, a little mood changing light, which I've got coming. Now I've thought about using one of the bought ones, but then I thought you can buy these really cheap outside little floodlights, and they change colour as well. So I thought I think they're around 10 watt each, 10 to 30 watt I think they are, but one of those cost me £8. So when that comes, we're going to destroy that, and we're going to take it apart, and we're going to redo it, and we're going to make a nice little acrylic shroud for it and put that on the top, and see if we can assimilate that into the tank. I think it'd look quite nice, but you can see how big it is. This tank's a monster of a tank. It really is. When you think how big the other paludarium is over there, that was quite a size. It's a real big old lump. And that filter should work fantastic, because we've got a nice little chamber of water around here, so it's going to flow down in there and swirl around all inside, get equally pulled down through the media, which is sandwiched in the middle there. I'm going to put just underneath that, I'm going to put a finer piece of sponge just as that first strain. So because you feed these guys very light planktonic foods, you can't really, it's going to go down and get sucked in there quite quickly. So there's only two ways you can do it. You can turn the pump off and feed them that way, where the majority will just keep floating around in the water and their movement will just keep it agitated and they'll feed that way. Or if you're feeding live copepods and different things of that nature, that should work equally as well. But it will take that, some of the copepods will go down and they'll colonise in amongst all this down here, and they'll feed off the particles of food that the jellies miss, and then in turn they'll probably come up through those holes to be consumed by the jellyfish again at a later date. So it's a good little system there. If I do ever want to get in there, obviously when the light's on, I can reach down inside with tongs. I can pull the sponges out with tongs. Like I say, it's not 100% user friendly, but I just fancied it being completely open with nothing else in there. Some of them you see with all the rubble in the bottom, where they've got all the, they've got a big heap of this kind of media in the bottom, but then the jellyfish are going to come along, they're going to hurt themselves on that. I don't like that idea at all. And they've got like a curtain of air bubbles that comes up around the side, but I don't want any of that. I just want a very, very low flow, which I've set that on, and that's just going to keep going nicely, very, very slowly. It's going to push up through there, hit the top, and create that swirl over a couple of minutes time when it starts to get it moving. Anyway, I think what we'll do is we're going to leave it there, because next time you see it, it's going to be all glued together, and we'll create that lighting system for it and give it a water test, make sure everything's sealed. I know the bottom's sealed, haven't water tested the top yet, but I'm sure it's all watertight. I can't see any gaps in that bond anywhere around it at all. And then it needs a really good polish up, and then we can start cycling it then, which I'm really looking forward to, getting that in the house. Yeah, guys, I was just looking in the tank then, and I just come across that, look at that, brand new little crystal red and a brand new little crystal black down there in amongst that moss, and a little yellow sakura as well. That's nice to see they're breeding away in there. And as you can see, the old yellow sakuras have gone mad in there. There's hundreds of them in here now, racing all over the place. So hopefully when it warms up a bit, I'll have a few of these for sale. If any of you guys are interested, they'll be a nice size by then. All the little endlers, all the ember tetras and the guppies are doing well. No babies yet. Hello, Jack. Little bubble nest there. Look, he's practicing away. We'll have to get him a girlfriend, I think. We'll have to get him a girlfriend. I've got lots of tanks which I can split him up and put him in there. Put her in there with him and let him bring a little clutch of eggs on. That'll be nice. Anyway, getting back to this big old jelly tank. I think, well, like I say, I will leave it there for now, and we'll pop back after I've done a little bit more work on it, and we've glued it all together and given it a water test like I just said before. Anyway, thank you guys for buying all those little shrimp feeders and the pleco feeders, the cucumber holders that I've made and put on eBay. They've all sold, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't believe how many of those went, and it was absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much for that. I put a load more back up as well, so if anyone else is interested in them, there's a few more on there for bidding. So go and have a bid on one of those if you're feeling like a little gambler today. Yes, so we're nearly there with the old jellyfish tank, guys. We're nearly there. We're getting closer all the time to filling it up with water, and I'm getting pretty excited about that now. Looking forward. Like I say, I've always wanted to build a jellyfish tank, and I've really enjoyed knocking this one up so far. But anyway, we have a box. Now, a nice lady called Lucy got in touch with me from Hagen, from Flooville, and said, would I like to try some of their products? And I thought that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So she sent me some stuff over. So let's see what she sent me. Oh wow. Let me just put that to one side. Now I did mention to her that I keep planted tanks, and she sent me a huge bag here of this fluval stratum. Look at that. Mineral rich. Mineral. Oh, that's fantastic. Look at that. Stimulates strong plant growth and all that kind of stuff. It's good for shrimps as well, which is good, because we're going to be building another shrimp tank, I think, shortly, and some other fish tanks as well, which I'm looking forward to, bringing some acrylic fish tanks in here. What else have we got? Oh, I can't believe that's just magic stuff. Look, some plant food as well, some micronutrients. Fabulous stuff, thanks very much for that. And a load of tools. My goodness, it's like Christmas. Oh well, that's fantastic guys, thanks very much for that. Over the moon. She sent me some curve scissors, which are black, either anodized black or, which is great. We've got a nice pair of tweezers as well, forceps, straight ones, little protective caps on the end. Oh, these look pretty cool, look at that. Little tiny scissors, little spring-loaded scissors. They'll come in really handy for getting in amongst the tanks and zipping off those little tiny roots and shoots in between things where the bigger ones can't reach. So they're going to come in really handy. Oh, look at a new paddle as well, for raking your substrate around. That'll come in handy for moving that around in the new tank. And a nice algae scraper. Oh, that is absolutely fabulous guys, thanks so much for that. They're all going to come in very, very handy. It's a really nice one as well. It's made out of metal, really nice, heavy, good weight to it. You can see there's a lovely, I think it just fits an actual razor blade in there, which is handy. So you just need to buy razor blades by the looks of things, screw that out, put a new razor blade in there, and you'll be cutting away in seconds. And that really is, I always found these old razor blade ones the best. They really are, they really do work well. The other ones I find they're thicker and they don't do as good job, and obviously you can't just interchange them, and these are really going to be cheap to interchange with those two nuts on there. Just screw them in and you're away. That's fabulous, look at that. And that screws into the end, so it gives you a good, that length again, so you got a good 2 foot there. Oh well, that's really good. That's magic stuff. Thanks very much for that guys, that is really appreciated. And I'm going to start using some of this today, I think, because I've just run out of the other one that I use. So we'll give this one a go. I'll do a little bit of research on the back. I haven't used this as yet, but I look forward to using it. Anyway guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of the old jellyfish tank. Really pleased with all this stuff. Can't thank you guys enough for sending me all that. That's really nice of you. And as always, you know that, you're all stars. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with the channel. Welcome to all you new guys that have just hopped on board. Subs are going up all the time. It's absolutely fantastic. Really enjoying the channel and making all these things for you. And like I say, next time we'll get this one full of water and we'll get it running. Anyway guys, as always, you're all stars. Thanks very much. Love you all. You're all stars. Take care, and I'll see you on the next edition of Marks Aquatics. Bye for now. Just me and my guitar.